So you want the truth. You want facts. Well, that's what you're going to get from the Let's Grow with Yo-Yo podcast every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So let's get with the discussion. And here's your fact-finding host with the most attitude, Yomi.
Hey everybody, good evening. This is your girl Yo-Yo. I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful day. Why do I look so? All right, there we go. That's better. I had to cut that light off. How are you all doing this evening, morning, or wherever you're watching from? This is your girl Yo-Yo, and I am happy and blessed for you all to be here today. Thank you for watching Let's Grow with Yo-Yo. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Thank you. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You can, if you do not know, you can get see me on YouTube at Yo-Yo H or Let's Grow with Yo-Yo. Facebook, Let's Grow with Yo-Yo. Instagram, Yo-Yo 7393001. Oh, excuse me. Oh, and I'm on the Ticket is Talk on TikTok under Let's Grow with Yo-Yo or Yo-Yo H. Those are my handles, and you can find me there. Yes, Lord. Okay, so we'll get to this young gentleman behind me in a minute, but we got some few housekeeping things we need to do. October 14th, which is like a week or 2 weeks away. At Buckrow Beach in Virginia Beach, I believe it is, or is it Hampton? Don't quote me on that, but it's Buckrow Beach. We are having our first annual Stop Hurting Me in honor of Domestic Violence Month, which is October is. The 3K walk, it will be from 10 to 1 p.m. If you have any questions, if you want to know how to register for the walk, if you want to know the specific location for the walk, you can get it at info@planuinc.com. All right. Then on October 28th, we'll have our first resource workshop where you'll learn resume writing, interview techniques, babysitting. I believe there'll be some on-the-spot interviews, hiring. Everything that you need to do, we will be there. It is October 28th. I'm not sure the location. It wasn't on the flyer, but it's from 10 to 1. If you need any information, please contact Miss Renita Hill at info@planuinc.com. I always forget to leave that INC out. Then, in March 22nd to 23, 2024, it's the Well Woman Experience, the Forgive Her Conference. Hey! I will have the flyer out shortly. It will be at the Hampton Roads Convention Center in Hampton, Virginia. You can get hotel reservations at the Embassy Suites. And that number is the Embassy Suites by Hilton at the Hampton Convention Center. The telephone number is 757-827-8200. Again, that's 757-827-8200. That's the Embassy Suites by Hilton at the Hampton Convention Center. Either say when you call, you are there, you want to make reservations for the Well Woman Experience or the Forgive Her Conference, right? Last but not least, we are definitely having our Sisterhood Brunch. It will be April 2024. I will come back with dates because we are working the dates out right now with a couple of venues. And whichever one I can pick and it's going to be a good for the amount of people I want and what I would like to do, the vision, I will come back and let you all know. So save that date, April 2024, the Sisterhood Brunch. March 22nd to 23rd, 2024 is the Well Woman Experience, the Forgive Her Conference. October 28th is the what do you call them things? The resource workshop. I'm sorry, I went blank for a minute. October 14th is Stop Hurting Me 3K Walk. Those are the dates. Those are the housekeeping. Hey! And we got it, right? We got it? All right. Now that we have the announcements out the way, can y'all tell me what time it is? Can y'all tell me what time it is? Give you a little hint. Wait, which am I going? This man right here. Hold on for a minute, y'all. I'm sorry, my dogs. Anyway, it is the Did You Know in Black History. Before I start, I wanted to bring up a conversation I was having with someone, a lady, because I'm trying to redo logos and everything. And she was like, why do you do a Did You Know in Black History? Because she looked at my YouTube channel, and I was like, because with the banning of African American studies in schools, in colleges, banning of books, who else is going to tell our story? Who else is going to tell the truth? I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there, but I feel I want to. This is my service to society, my service to our community is to do the Did You Know in Black History. Every other week or every week, I'm going to bring up something that's valuable or sustainable that Black people did for this country. Someone or something or some people that contributed to society in our country. Maybe there's some people out there that don't have access to a computer, who don't have ways to get to a library. Heck, they ban books in libraries now, so you don't know. So this is my way of giving back. It's free. YouTube is free. Facebook is free. Instagram is free. All these things are free. And TikTok is free, and so is IG. So this is my contribution back to society about Did You Know in Black History. Well, in that case, let's get started. This man, where am I going? This man right here, that is Bishop Lee Robinson, born 1927 in Baltimore, Maryland. He attended Coppin State University, where he received his bachelor's degree. And after graduating, he attended the University of Baltimore and School of Law in 1952. Also in 1952, Bishop Lee joined the Baltimore Police Department. This was amazing because he was the first African American on the police department. Well, not the first on the police department, but it was a pivotal moment in society because Black people on the police department was very scarce in that time in the United States. Whew. He became the first African American commissioner of Baltimore City. He served this position from 1984 to 1987. Mr. Robertson also helped founded NOBLE, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement. This is also out of Baltimore, Maryland. He later became Maryland State Secretary of Public Safety and Correctional Services, Secretary of Juvenile Justice. He served Maryland a total of 50 years. Can y'all please give it up for Bishop Lee Robinson? That is your Did You Know in Black History. Just imagine being the first Black man, first Black African American man, first man to become a sitting commissioner in the state of Baltimore. That's something. That's amazing. That's wonderful. But look, here we go. Let's talk briefly about this government that we have. The House of Representatives is going array. They are just going crazy, right? We was on the verge for a government shutdown until Saturday night, 3 hours before the shutdown was going to happen. Kevin McCarthy and the Democrats came up with a solution that's only going to last 45 days. So we have 45 days, well, a little under 45 days now, to get a budget that will last the rest of the year. I don't understand why every time we have an issue with the budget is during a Republican seat in the House. They have majority stake in the House. Anyway, I digress. So Kevin McCarthy went to the Democrats to help so the government went shut down. And he also stated in a press conference that he didn't want the American people to suffer. He didn't want, this is Kevin McCarthy, Speaker Kevin McCarthy, former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He didn't want the government to shut down. He didn't want America to suffer behind them. Where House Republicans, you know, the real conservative, Christian, evangelical people, was willing to shut the government down to prove a point. I don't know what the point was, but that Biden was not doing his job, so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. But on September 30th, Biden did sign into law the stoppage bill that averted the shutdown. Now, here we go. Matt Gaetz, the one who brought us big stinker about impeaching inquiry on Joe Biden, which is really crazy because they're trying to okay, so Hunter Biden, right? I have to say this. He never held a seat in office. He never was elected into office. He actually benefited from having a Biden's name. That's his guilty pleasure. That's his guilty thing. Whatever. If Biden has something to do with it, yes, do the impeachment on him. However, the facts of the matter is they have not brought anybody that is a fact finding this that ties what Hunter Biden did to Joe Biden. So this is another reason why they wanted the government to shut down, because they wanted to finish their impeachment inquiry. Anywho, so now that Matt Gaetz got his inquiry, he still wasn't satisfied. He still wanted to the government to shut down. He didn't want McCarthy to work with the Democrats. Now, this is the funny kicker, y'all. McCarthy worked with the Democrats to keep the government from shutting down. Matt Gaetz worked with the Democrats to get McCarthy removed from his speakership. See how that's stupid? See how that doesn't make any sense? See how you have this? It's just retarded. Like, can you notice that? One man went to cross the aisle to keep the government, people like in the military, our veterans working at the veteran hospital, border patrol, Capitol Police, from not getting paid. He crossed the aisle to keep the government from shutting down. But because he did that, Matt Gaetz wanted him to get removed out of his seat, not only because of that, but because the impeachment inquiry on President Joe Biden. No, he wanted to impeach Joe Biden, but McCarthy did an inquiry on Joe Biden. And here we go, Congressman Jim Jones. He's just a fluke altogether. We gonna show the American, ain't showing the American people nothing linked Joe Biden to anything, but I digress. So Matt Gaetz went before Congress yesterday and put in a motion to have Kevin McCarthy removed as Speaker of the House. In a vote of 216 to 210, Kevin McCarthy was removed as Speaker of the House. First time in American history, we are in this is crazy. This right here is, I can't even fathom the words, get the words out my brain to say that this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. He was removed from his speakership, right? Now, he did a pro temp. McCarthy nominated somebody to be pro temp, meaning he's temporarily the speaker until they have to come up with a vote. I think tomorrow or Friday, the vote has to go in. It's 3 days after. So it is Friday, so it might be Friday. So who we have? Jim Jones, that's a no-go. He's super, super conservative. Super conservative. Oh, it's not Jones, Jim Jordan. I'm sorry, I got his name all wrong. Jim Jordan. He's one of those people that he has to be right. His way is the highway. His way is the only way. I don't even know what to say about him. He's horrible. As a congressman, and he doesn't think about his constituents in his district, in his state, right? He don't care that they don't want this. He gonna do what he wants to do. That's him. Then you have Steve Scalise. Scalise, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's from Louisiana. He's also a conservative, right? He's a little better than Jim Jordan, but he's also a conservative. And these two are put their hats in for, running for Speaker of the House. Now, this is going to be crazy because it's only a slim margin that the House of Representatives, the Republicans, are over by 4 or 5 over the Democrats. And even though if 5 people move over to the Democrat side, neither one of these men will have the votes to become Speaker of the House. Now, you're asking, why is this important? Because without a Speaker of the House, nothing is getting done. Nothing. Like, no bills are getting passed on to the Senate. No bills have been brought to the floor to go over. We have less than 45 days to come up with a budget. Now, let's talk about this budget. One, Congress was the Republican Party in Congress was trying to give themselves a pay raise. And they tried to sneak it in, and the Democrats caught it. So no, you wasn't going. Why would you get a pay raise and everybody else gets no check? Doesn't make sense to me. That's stupid. But here we are, right? They rather fatten their pockets, and the lowest person in the country, the lowest person, a McDonald's worker who works 2 McDonald's, clean up as a janitor in the evening to try to make ends meet, or whatever. I'm not gonna say that's what I just do those jobs out there. Won't get a paycheck, or a government worker, a contractor that works on a installation for the government. They won't get paid. How are they going to eat? How will they feed their family? But you, a congressman, put in for a pay raise? Make that make sense. So these are the things that we need to think about. Now, I went to factfinder.com, and this is what the Republicans want to cut. 1.2 million children will go without a Head Start, right? They want to cut that spending. There's too much money in there. Medicaid and Medicare, they want to cut about $2.5 million out of that, a little bit more, I think, because we don't need it. They want to cancel the cap for insulin, which is in the infrastructure bill that they all agreed on, bipartisan agreement that Joe Biden signed into law, right? That they wouldn't touch Head Start, they wouldn't touch Medicaid and Medicare. But you see how now all of a sudden they want to renege on what was in the infrastructure bill. It's already in there. Now you want to take it out? I don't think so. But because, but you want a pay raise. But you don't want people like me or people I know that are diabetics that have to take insulin. Well, I don't take insulin, but I know people that take insulin, and insulin by itself is like, oh my God, $200-300. And some people that are on disability, they don't have that for all their medication that they need. And you want them to pay that? And you want to cut Medicaid and Medicare? Don't do that. Of course, cut the funding for Head Start. It was some other. Oh, stop money going to Ukraine. Now, this is where an issue comes in because it's a congressman. I think it's in Iowa, Illinois, starts with I. Most of his constituents are Ukrainians that migrated here from Ukraine. That will actually hurt him if he signs that, because most of the people in his district come from Ukraine. So it's a catch-22 on that one. You might not want to sign it. What else? Medicaid, Medicare, Head Start, prescription drugs. Because Joe Biden gave Medicaid and Medicare to people to negotiate with Big Pharma on medicines. He gave it to them to bring the cost down, and the Republican Party doesn't want that to happen. They want, of course, the poor to stay poor. And listen, let me go ahead and say this. I don't think there is a middle class anymore. I think it's either the rich or the poor. Or, yes, there's a middle class, but it's not like back in the day, like in the 70s or 80s or even the early 90s, right? We're not there no more. So they want to cut all this funding. This funding is actually for us, people that will help us, like jobs. Unemployment went down to 3.2%. But this is my thing when it comes to the jobs. Yes, unemployment went down, but these big corporations are not paying people to live above poverty. All that right there needs to be worked out. And I'm sorry, people that make over $200,000 a year, why can't y'all get taxed more? Let me rephrase that. People that make over $400,000 a year, why should y'all not get taxed more? Why should people that make $30,000 to $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year pay more into taxes than you all do? That's crazy to me. Y'all write off so much stuff. So all these things that I was just talking about is going into this bill, this law, in our budget to see what we will be funding for the next year. That goes for military spending. We don't want to cut their budget because we need tanks, we need aircraft carriers, we need Humvees, LMTVs, we need all that. So we should not cut their funding at all. We need medical equipment. First of all, we need doctors, legitimate doctors at the VA. This turnover is crazy. So pay them people what they're worth and fund it like they're supposed to be. For the nurses and the doctors and the staff at the VA. All that stuff is going into this bill. All this stuff that we're supposed to have, that they want to cut, whatever, it's going into this bill. So hopefully by November 17th, we will have a speaker in the House of Representatives and they can get back to America's business. Now, let me say this, and I've always said this before I go. The power of the people is more powerful than the people in power. They work for us, y'all. They work for us. We do not work for them. They work for us. We elected them into office. Why do you think they're out here trying to gerrymander maps and redistricting this and redoing this to keep your vote away? Let me tell you, first of all, the millennials and Gen Z and then Gen Alphas, they ain't going for that. So Gen X and baby boomers, come on, y'all. We got to get it together. All right? We need to stick together, Black and brown people, indigenous people, and work together to get these people out of the office and vote for people that have your best interests at heart. Y'all, I'm just seeing people, I ain't gonna vote, or I'm gonna vote my name, I'll put my name in when what is that for? Look at each candidate we have an election coming up November 7th here. Look at each candidate. Look at each candidate. Whichever one has your values, whichever one speaks to you. I'm sorry, my dog's trying to come over here. Speaks to your heart. That's who you go for. That's who you vote for. Don't just not vote. Don't just write in a name because that's what you feeling. People, our country is going down if we keep it up. Democracy is going away if we keep this up. Okay? Here you go. He worked too hard to get what he got for us to let that go. Do you understand? He worked too hard to get what he got. And been the first for us to turn our backs on our democracy now. You worked too hard to get where you are, to turn your back on democracy now. You worked too hard to provide for your families, to not vote and make your voice known and put people in position to help you where your values lie. Not theirs, yours. Take this seriously. If not, you might as well go back to Jim Crow era because that's where we're going. Stop being hard-headed and stop thinking that your vote doesn't count, because if your vote didn't count, they wouldn't work so hard to take your vote away. Our ancestors worked too hard to get us where we are today. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, all these people worked too hard, put their lives on a line for us to go back to where we were. It's up to us to teach this generation coming up behind us about Black history, about history of America, about indigenous history. It's up to us to keep that going. It's up to us to let everybody know that American history is indigenous history. It's Black history. It's Asian history. It is up to us to put people in office that have our core values. You don't like that person in there? Vote them out. Vote them out. And put somebody in there that works for you. Yes, it's a toss-up sometimes because greed takes control sometimes. But if that one person that you put in gets greedy, vote them out. Put somebody else in there. Keep doing it till you get what you need. Everybody say Joe Biden ain't doing this. Let me tell y'all something. Because you don't see him on the TV every 2 seconds, doesn't mean he isn't working. Just because you don't see Vice President Kamala Harris on TV standing there looking crazy, doesn't mean she isn't working. She's been to HBCUs to talk to them. She has done a lot. She went over there to Venezuela to see why are people escaping over to fleeing to America. We need to put people in office that's going to do right by us as a country, not just for one person or one aspect of society, but for all people. Women's health is an issue. They are trying to take away contraceptives. Listen, I know some millennials or Gen Zs, they don't want to have children. You should not force somebody to have a child. Rape and incest. A 10, 12, 13-year-old child getting raped by her father, her uncle. You going to force her to have a baby? Because these are the people, these pedophiles that are in office. and y'all worried about transgender people and homosexual people, they really ain't out here coming for our children. What if, honey, I can show you so many things. I be looking and shaking my head of all these priests, pastors, evangelicals out here molesting children and getting arrested and sentenced. I ain't seen not one trans. Now, hold on. I did see a guy dress up as a female the other day and try to rape a girl, teenager in a school recreational bathroom, and a swarm of men came and charged Indy because they heard the scream and detained him until the police officers came. That's what we need. We need men, we need women to stand up. They work for us. We don't work for them. Yes, we got to go punch a clock in the morning and we got to sit there and listen to them talks, whoever we work for or whatever. But these they supposed to be working for us. They supposed to be making the United States better for us, not for them. Okay? All right. So thank you all for watching the Let's Grow with Yo-Yo show. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you all. I will see you again, next week. Same bad channel, same bad time. Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Let's Grow with Yo-Yo podcast. And thank you for wanting the truth and facts, because that makes for a more interesting discussion. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you then.